do a voting booth and cast your ballot, or if you don't, you're voting. So that means like this. If you're saying that you're not voting, that means somebody's going to be elected. So you might as well line up with people that express your views or the views of people you love. If you come from a culture or community that's underserved or underprivileged, then you might want to do research on both candidates and look at their history as well as their present, what they're saying, and you want to try to cast your vote towards that, because either one of these politicians will be elected, whether it's Democrat or Republican. So it's best to do your research and do your homework, and then find out which one of these candidates line up with your views or the views of your people and your culture where you currently live.
Okay.
And I want to add to that, one of the main reasons I think it's important to vote is because there are so many forces out to try to prevent you from voting. And for whatever reason, it is important for others to do it. And when you start hearing things like, it ain't gonna do no good, my vote ain't gonna count, that means that you don't think it's important enough for you to do it. And if you don't feel it's important enough for you to do it, then you will not only be governed by people who don't have your best interests at heart, but you'll be governed, and your best interest will be left behind, and all you'll have left to say is, that doesn't support me. What are they doing for me? The first step in changing that is to do something for yourself. You have to step out there. You have to step out on faith. You have to step out and believe that some of the issues that you care about will be taken care of. And if they don't, then you have a voice. If you don't vote, you don't have a voice. Your voice is nil. We have laws and we have judges, we have sheriffs that are being voted in who don't care about your community. And if they don't care about your community, they're not serving you. So the most important thing to do is to bring to the forefront your issues and choose a person that represents your issues. If not, you have no voice. And the man without a voice, not only for himself, doesn't have a voice for his children. So that means that if you don't vote, then you're married, you're an adult, and you don't vote, for 18 years, somebody else is speaking for your child. When that should be your part, that should be your position as a parent and as an adult, to be able to speak for them, at least until they're able to speak for themselves. And they can determine whether or not they want to vote. I just suggest vote. Do some research, find out what it is that you care about, and find that person that closely relates to your issues, because nobody's going to know your full issues. Nobody's going to relate 100% to your issues, but at least close enough to that you will have a swaying voice in the matter. If not, you have to take what you get, and what we've been getting ain't been good.
Well, yeah, I agree with what both of the brothers said, but I want to kind of piggyback on the back of that. See, when you vote, it's more than just, see us, speaking of us, I'm saying like most black people, you know, we've been told about, you know, to two-party system, you know, Democrat, Republican. But it's bigger than just, see, other people don't vote Democrat or Republican. Most people vote liberal, conservative. Now, I'm not here to tell you who is better for you. Only thing I'm telling you is you got to look at the values and the principles of a liberal, and you got to look at the values and principles of a conservative and see which one of them line up to you, and then you vote that way. Now, if you have somebody that is swaying in the position that you believe in, once you see you with that person, if you're going to vote with that person, you got to hold that person accountable.
Okay.
For everything that they say they're going to do, or things that they didn't say things that they didn't say they was going to do, you bring it to their attention. If you don't do that, and if you don't vote at all, then you voiceless. You ain't got nothing to say. You have, all you got to do is sit and live through it. So I think that in my opinion, there we go. In my opinion, I think that, I mean, is it safe to say it, JJ?
Yeah. Come on with it. Let's talk about it.
Okay, let's talk about it, man. In my opinion, see me, I'm more of a conservative person. I'm more conservative minded than liberal. And I mean, we can talk all night about, you know, the differences, but I line up with that, with conservative ideology because that's where my core values lie. And to be honest with you, most of us, most black people, most of that are our values, but we don't vote that way. You know, we've been told all our life that we gotta vote Democrat. You know, grandma and them was Democrat, you know, mama and them was Democrat, so I'm a Democrat. You know, and you got people that's on the ballot right now this year that's been in office since I was in high school that have done absolutely nothing for the community. They don't even, when it's time for election, they don't even put money in yard signs because they know they're gonna win anyway.
Come on.
You know what I'm saying?
They grandfathered in.
Yeah, we got to change that. You know, it's more than just saying we gonna vote for that person or that ideology, and they know they got it,
Right.
and they do nothing.
Right.
Every 2 years, every 4 years, they do absolutely nothing for us.
Right. I think one thing that I heard, and we'll go on Brother Banks, one thing that I heard both of you guys, all three of you guys say is that you need to do your research.
Right.
You need to do your research. And I think for the most part of it, many of us, man, we have been lazy, you know, and I think sometimes I believe we go in the ballot box and we pick the last person we seen on TV.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Vote for me, vote for me. But all three of you guys have declared we need to do our research. We need to do our research. And another thing you guys were in agreement on is that you need to see which candidates actually line up with your core beliefs.
Right.
And so we understand that, okay, we may not find a person that line 100% up,
Nobody will.
but we have to look at the overall bigger picture. You know what I'm saying? And so people have been looking at me crazy because it's like, man, when they get to talking to me, you know, I'm like, man, one thing I can attest to is this here, man, and I've witnessed this here. When Democrats are in office, the money goes on lockdown.
Right.
And I'm in the construction industry. But I've noticed that when the Republicans are holding the seat, that the money is released. And so at the end of the day, this is so important for us and the audience especially because election time is upon us again. And we have to make a decision and we have to find out, okay, what is it that I believe? It's the same way in religion. You know what I'm saying? Everybody, for most people in religion, the only thing that most of us have in common is that we believe in Jesus. You know what I'm saying? The doctrine may vary, the doctrine may differ, and so that's where a lot of the fights come in at. And so as a people, we have to begin to take the underlying factor of, okay, what is going to not only benefit me and my house, but what's going to benefit my neighbor. You know what I'm saying? I'm not even going to say sister or brother, I'm going to say neighbor. What's going to benefit them? You know what I'm saying? But how many of us really understand our core beliefs and what we really want to see? Go ahead, Brother Leon.
Yeah, I was just going to add something to that. I wanted to say also, I think we have to do some historical research on these two parties because these two parties have flipped sides a number of times. And the last big flip was right after Jim Crow era. And Jim Crow era was a bad era for black people. After Reconstruction came these laws about black people not having the same rights, not being able to do the same things that white people can.
Right, right.
And so that party at that time was a Democratic Party, and that party was a racist party. It did not adhere or think anything of black people, didn't want us to even be participating in society. So after the signing of the Equal Rights Bill, that party was angry and flipped sides to what they called Dixiecrats. And those Dixiecrats became Republicans. So what we have now is that party back in power again. These Dixiecrats who have hijacked the Republican Party. Now they have some conservative values. And just to be clear, most liberal Democrats are conservative. Most black people are conservative. We're not as wild and loose as people would want to believe. We are pretty much conservative people. We're not a violent people by nature. So that makes us conservative in that respect. We believe in God. We, for the most part, go to church. We worship. Those are conservative things. We don't believe in just hijacking people's lives. It's not us. It's not part of who we are as people. We've never been that way. We've become that way in some instances. Some of us have, but like other races, they have too. But we're mostly liberal and mostly conservative. I'm a liberal conservative. But I vote for people that look out for my best interests. I vote for people who look out for treating me like a human being, like anybody else would. People that will respect my values like anybody else's values. And so I know that there are times when Democrats are in office, the money freezes up because they're more conservative about spending, whereas Republicans are not. They're more liberal about spending for themselves, not about spending for black communities, not about spending for the lower people. So you have to do research. You have to figure out who these people are. What are their values? What are they looking out for? Who are they looking out for? Are they looking to line their pockets, or are they looking to open opportunities so that I can line mine? Martin Luther King said a long time ago, he said they told us to pull ourselves up by our bootstraps.
Yeah.
But it's hard to pull yourself up by your bootstrap when the money is frozen at the top. You're pulling yourself and pulling yourself up, but the money's frozen at the top. The opportunities are frozen. You go to the banks, the loans are frozen to you. So you're pulling yourself up by your bootstraps, and once you've gotten your bootstraps tight, somebody's pulling on your pant leg, not allowing you to move forward. So you have to do research. You have to look out and look and see who these people are, not just the presidential elections. Look at the local elections. You got these sheriffs that are being put in place. You got chiefs, police chiefs that are being voted in place. You got judges that are being voted in place. Those people have the lock and key to justice. You gotta figure out when these people are being voted for. You have to hit these districts to find out who the city councils are. You have to know these people, because now the system is making it more difficult for you to vote straight party line. Now you have to know who these candidates are. And one thing that they've done, 102 FM has done, is they have a connection to Vote Houston, and you can go on that website and they have a list of all of the candidates, who they are, by name, by district, and what party they're in. And you can research those candidates to find out who these people are, because you can go into Boot and vote. If you don't know who that person is, you might be wanting to vote Republican and vote a Democrat, or vice versa. Now, there is another party. There's an independent party. Has some weight, because whenever those votes are split, that independent party can sway one way or the other. So you have another opportunity, another option. But knowing who these people are is the most important thing. Who they are, that's one of my pet peeves. I love registering people to vote. I love getting the information out and the knowledge out for people so that they can go and take a vote. If it wasn't important, others wouldn't do it so much.
Right.
You know, if white people can stand in line for a long time to vote, they're there because they know there's benefit in it. And if you don't, they know that you're not going to get the benefits of it. So you have to do it.
Yeah, voting is so important. Go ahead, too.
I'd like to add another thing. Like when the presidential election was coming up with Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump, right? You had people saying that the lesser two evils. Hillary Clinton is this, she's liberal, she's this and that. Okay, if you look at it, when we voted, say Donald Trump became our president, right? Well, it's his ideologies that's going to put Supreme Court justices in place that's going to rule on the laws of the land. It's his, like when you vote senators, conservative, these people ideologies are going to be the people that write the laws that the Supreme Court is going to enforce, that Donald Trump is going to sign off of, because he's putting people in. He could be him or Hillary Clinton, Democrat, Republican, conservative, liberal, however. They're putting people in position that's going to line up with their ideologies. Like he got Betsy DeVos as the person over the children's education, right? This is a lady that has been in private school all her life. Never been to public school, don't know much about the culture. It could be blacks, Hispanics, whatever. People that come from a lower economic background was raised in a certain culture with certain restrictions, be it their own fault or generations ago when they were denied the right to read, the right to educate themselves. So pulling yourself by your own bootstraps is hard to do when you don't own the boot or the straps.
Right,
you understand what I'm saying? So you take the little you have. Every now and then one of us make it out. We get our own business, we become entrepreneurs. A lot of it got to do with hard work and the values we were raised up in a household. If I was a hustler all my life and the police is hot on me and I want to turn my dirty money clean, I open up a music shop, I become a producer, whatever. And then after living that type of lifestyle, I see the freedom it would bring me. I don't have to go here or do that because somebody say I do, I'm free. And then I start learning more and reading more and educating myself, I'm like, man, you know, this is a freedom that I can start teaching to others, you know. But I said all that to say this, man. When you may line up with a conservative, say if I line up with a liberal person and I got and there's a conservative running, right? Well, I gotta look what these liberal programs are. Do the liberal offer programs that's gonna have implications on the children's schools? The money that's gonna be available for them to go to college? Are they gonna restrict grants? Are they gonna allow extra money for children to go to school to get an education? I gotta look at that. When it comes to home ownership, first-time buyer programs, African American programs, all of that was cut out with Donald Trump. President Obama had put in place, if you was an African American, you was a first-time homeowner, you got a $7,000 tax credit at the end of the year. That's gone. Because he come from a background or a culture where he always had money. So he figured that's a welfare program. I'm giving stuff away. Public housing, vouchers for public housing for veterans like me and him. When I first moved here, I was homeless. You know what I mean? Because I come from a life I chose to walk away from and not go back. So I put myself through the struggle, right? But there was programs available for me, like the housing programs, VASH. Then I was able to go to college, right? I went to HCC. I was able to get grants. Then I went to U of H. I got my bachelor's degree. Then I went to U of H and got my master's degree. Why? There was programs out there that was available for me. And I applied for benefits that I was available for based on my economic standing at the time. But however, if there's people over that don't see the need for that, then they're not gonna make that available to people. I just want to add that.
Right. Come on, Roderick.
You know, it was a president said, I'm gonna have those N-words voting Democrat for 200 years. You know what I'm saying? LBJ.
Right.
It's a reason why he said that, and it's a reason why things like that happen. Don't get me wrong, social programs are a necessity. They need it. It's not a hammock. It's not something that you're supposed to be on forever for the rest of your life, because that program is there so you can be on it and your kids can be on it and you can teach your daughter. She got 2 apartments down from you. That's not what it's for. You know what I'm saying? People, every election cycle, people come around. Every 2 years, every 4 years, they come around with them Republicans gonna take everything that they got in place for. They gonna take it from you. You know, scare tactics. Nobody is trying to legislate to take nothing that's needed from the people. But the legislation that they trying to put forth, you got people that's from the cradle to the grave on social programs. From the cradle to the grave. When they told people that, well, you know what, in order to get this, you got to go take a drug test. Man, people jump, they touch the roof. That's discrimination. That's discriminatory. We not the only people that's on social programs, but we the ones that jump up and down when they talking about taking. You understand what I'm saying? It's stuff like that liberals put in place to keep in power. It's not because it has nothing to do that they care. They gonna throw you a bone every so often. They gonna throw you a bone. They gonna put something out there. Look, you vote for me, and you gonna be able to keep this free right here. You vote for me, you can keep that free right there. Because them no good Republicans, they gonna take that away from you if you vote for them. If you vote for them, that's what they do. That's why that cycle continues. Everybody just said that they more conservative than liberal, but nobody vote that way, because the liberals are the ones that, as long as they're giving it away, then we good. No, I'm not saying nobody want to go out, but if they legislate things that's legislated, they can legislate hard work, but they can legislate things to make you lazy and make you sorry and make you want to go to the mailbox.
Right.
They can legislate that.
They're looking for the handout.
Yeah, and that is the reason why we gravitate to that party so much, because they offer, they come with these fake deals every 2 years and every 4 years that they really don't, because nobody taking none of that away. But they come with the fake saying, look here, man, we gonna look out for you. We gonna do this for you. After you elect them,
Yeah.
they do
Where
that.
they at?
They do absolutely that.
Can I jump in on that? Because I disagree with a lot of what you said. First of all, in the Constitution, it says that it is the responsibility of the government to take care of its citizens. Now, that being said, that was written in there, but it wasn't written in there for us.
Right.
We have social programs because the government has social programs. They were put in place. Dwight D. Eisenhower was one of the first ones to put those programs, some of those programs in place. Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, all of these things came about. They were Republicans.
Right.
They were Republicans. These were not Democrats. And Democrats are keeping some of these social programs because you have to have them. If you have areas where black people live where there is no business, no economy, no economic growth, no industry, and they have to work 2 and 3 jobs on jobs that don't even pay minimum wage, they have to have a way out. For a lot of us, that's a way out. Now, let's go back. White people were getting these programs en masse before we even were allowed to get these programs. I remember as a kid, my mother had this struggle. She was a school teacher. She still had to struggle to take care of her children. My father wasn't around. She got food stamps. They were little bitty tiny stamps. She took them they had a little book. You take them there and you get some food on there. You get certain things on there. You get a lot of things, but you get certain things on there. Milk, eggs, breakfast foods, and some oatmeals and cereals. It wasn't a big help. But as soon as black people started getting those things, white people went crazy. They lost their minds because they thought and felt like black people were getting something and taking something from them. Now, we can go all the way back on some of this stuff, but I don't want to go too far. The history lesson is this: Republicans have never looked out for black people, except for when black people were Republicans. Martin Luther King was a Republican.
What changed?
The only thing that changed is because, like I said, when Johnson signed the Bill of Rights and the Voting Rights Act, the Democrats, the white Democrats, left the Democratic Party and infiltrated the Republican Party. They became Dixiecrats. Those Dixiecrats changed the Republican Party. Oh, let me finish. Those Democrats changed the Republican Party. The Republican Party started those social programs, not the Democratic Party. The Democratic Party, the Republicans then switched and moved over into the Democratic side of the House because they were going to, these Democrats that became Dixiecrats were now in the Republican Party and were about to destroy each and every one of those programs that the Republicans put in place. Not Democrats.
Was that before or after the Voting Rights Act?
That was after, right after. And they went crazy.
So the ones that filibustered,
yeah,
for 76 days, what other Republicans was those?
Those were Democrats. Those were Johnson's people. He said we're going to have them N-words voting Democrats for 200 years. He's right, because they left the Republican Party because the Democrats that were in the Republican Party came to the Republican Party and turned it into what we now have as a Tea Party, the party of Trump. This Tea Party started when Barack Obama became president. You all of a sudden had an infiltration of Dixiecrats, old racist white men, and some of their young proteges that they're grooming from what is called, people think about the Illuminati, forget them. The Federalist Society is what grooms presidents, Supreme Court justices, vice presidents, senators. That's who they're grooming. And they're grooming Tea Party people to stay in the Republican Party, to maintain power, and that power that they're maintaining now is going to make poor people poorer. The legislation that they're writing right now, my brother, is to destroy any program that help black people get up, to kill any kind of minimum wage, raising the minimum wage. They're doing everything possible. They're doing everything possible because they want to consolidate. They're trying to consolidate the wealth at the top.
How are the policies they putting in place right now designed to destroy the middle class and
the tax cut? Not one black person, poor person making less than $30,000 or $40,000 a year benefited from the tax cut. Who benefited? Big business, corporation, billionaires and millionaires. That's who benefited. Where did that money go? It did not go to the community like they promised they would do. They bought back shares and stocks. They filled their pockets. They stuck money in offshore accounts. They did nothing for the economy. Democrats, on the other hand, are saying, we don't agree with that tax cut. Of course we don't. We were the Republican Party, the party of fiscal responsibility. We're now the Democratic Party. And if somebody talks about Lincoln being a Republican, Lincoln was not a really good guy for black people.
So the fiscal responsibility is so fiscal responsibility is to strangle industry.
No, it's not.
It's to, because that's what Democrats do.
No.
They strangle industry. They tax.
And they make them pay a fair share. Guess who? Guess who had the Republicans? Check this out. During Eisenhower's time.
What's a fair share, bro?
Look, during Eisenhower's time, the big business. During Eisenhower's time, big business, rich people, they paid an 80% tax, and they were fine with it. Because it stimulated the economy, it got the roads built, it did all of those things. When big business takes money and shoves it offshore, no roads get fixed, especially in our communities. No hospitals get built, no schools get repaired. None of that happens because they take the money away. What the Democratic Party, what used to be Republicans, are doing in fiscal responsibility is making them pay their fair share. If they pay their fair share, look, it said like, I'm gonna put it to you.
What is it? Give me a number.
Let me put it to you.
According, give me a number. What's a fair share?
Let me give it to you. If you make a certain amount of money, you should pay a certain amount of money in taxes. If we make a certain amount of money, we have to pay a certain amount of money in taxes. If we don't, we can't look for no income tax. We can't look for the schools to be better because those tax dollars go into the community. If they take the money out of the community, which happens when people move into our communities, build businesses, and then live somewhere else, they take the money out of our community and our community suffers. Big business takes the money out of our communities. What they do put in our communities are chemical factories, oil factories, refineries that destroy our water, destroy our air, and cause most of us to have sicknesses, and we don't even know where they come from. Right. That's what big business is. What Democrats do, they put regulations on them. They tell them, you mess it up, you clean it up, you pay for it, you fix it, you do the right thing with it. Now, let me show you this. This is what they said. This is recently.
So if
you put the money in the
conservatives want they want dirty water and
they're not conservative.
Dirty air.
Don't be fooled by.
I'm asking because I'm conservative.
They're not conservative like you. They're not conservative. Let me show you why. Let me show you why they're not conservative.
Okay.
Because they have the evangelical church standing behind them when the man in charge of this country right now has talked about and bragged about sexually assaulting women. There's now a young lady in jail who he's been around who's been sexually assaulting children. That's not a conservative. That's not a conservative. A guy who lies over 8,000 times. That's not a conservative. That's somebody that wants the power of conservatism and not be a conservative. He wants liberal freedoms and enact conservative laws against you, me, and everybody else. That's not conservative.
So the policies that are being passed right now, those are liberal policies?
Those policies are coming from a president who's not a liberal or a Democrat or a conservative. Donald Trump wasn't a conservative.
No, I understand all that. I'm asking you, are the policies...
The policies that we see right now, those are not conservative policies.
Those are liberal policies.
Those are authoritarian policies. And you'll understand that as time goes on...
Give me one. Give me one authoritarian.
All of them. All of them. You got to get your kids back in school. Open the economy right now. Let the people die. So let me show you something about this.
Let the people die.
As soon as they found out COVID-19 was killing more of the black and brown community, the very first idea was to rush and open everything up. You know why? Because most black and brown people are essential workers. They feed the people sitting at the top. They have to go into those factories.
The people that are essential workers never stopped working.
Of course they did. They couldn't afford to. That's why I'm saying.
I mean, the grocery stores,
that's why I'm saying conservative laws have put a stranglehold on poor people for decades, man.
How? I mean,
okay, I'll tell you how.
Give me an example.
Find a school teacher who can really say and live fully off her retirement. Find me one.
I don't
If
know
she's not a
no
Harvard
retired
professor,
school.
find me one that
I
can.
don't know no retired school teachers.
I knew
But-
one.
Let me jump
mother.
Name right quick, man.
Because see, we understand, and I get what everybody is saying, and you know what I'm saying. And I think it still boils back down to each individual knowing what their core beliefs is,
Right.
and that's the way. Because at the end of the day, man, you know, and we're not arguing. We just, you know what I'm saying. Our dialogue, and you know the crazy thing about it, man. I just watched the interview with the black guy who infiltrated the KKK.
Yeah, that was.
And I just watched that video, and he made a statement. He said, once we talked, once we dialogue. And see, these are some of the things, because we don't like to talk about stuff like this here. We'll hit on it, but we don't like to go into detail, or we'll throw something out there. And but when you are able to defend why I stand the way that I stand, you see what I'm saying? And I believe that as a people, we don't have time for that. We don't make time for that. You know what I'm saying? And I think that that's more so of a hindrance to us moving forward, not only individually, but collectively, because there are so many divisions. Even the scripture says that a house divided, it cannot stand. So if I can bring in swords and I can cut this off and I can cut that off, you know, but we are so quick. We're so quick to not do the homework. Because how many of us really have that type of appetite? We could tell that you guys had an appetite, but how many? And this is what I believe is that. Okay, I believe that if we come together collectively, that because these type of dialogues need to go forth. You know what I'm saying? Because we're talking about, okay, why should I vote? Most of us believe that our vote already don't count. One of the other brothers that I had a chance to talk to, he said, yeah, your vote don't count if you're the only one voting. You know what I'm saying? But you get enough of us together, then those votes count. But I believe that as a community of people, how do we make our community better? Because this needs to be, we need to be educated in these areas. You know what I'm saying? Because we do have some people that are so comfortable in that hammock of welfare. I know some people, man, who have told their daughters, the more children you have, the more stamps you can get.
Right.
Literally, child support.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Child support is one of the new, it ain't a new hustle, but it's a hustle. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is this here, because why should I vote? And this is why. This is why we should vote. This is why we should vote, because, okay, and not only just looking at the top of this thing, but like you said, Brother Leon, well, you got to look locally too.
Yeah.
What's going on in the district? You know what I'm saying? What this sheriff about? What is this judge about? You know what I'm saying? So we have to understand these things. And when you talk about conservative and we talk about liberals, we talk about the Republican Party, because it's both on the Democratic side as well. You know, who's lining up with my core values? How can we get out the mud? You know what I'm saying? And so a lot of these things have been taken away from us, because you have people who are in authority and in power that they're godless. Period. You know what I'm saying? Without government is good, but government without God is horrible for the people. And it's not to make anybody religious or this or that. You know what I'm saying? But everything has to be structured. And so when we talk about these things, because I hear what's being said. What's being said is that, okay, this is what I believe, and this is why I believe it. You know what I'm saying? And when I look at my brother, you know, man, bro. We grew up together, you know what I'm saying, same school, you know what I'm saying, and I sit back and I watch and I get motivation watching, you know what I'm saying. It's crazy because I get motivation watching the moves that you make, you know what I'm saying, because the moves that you're making snatches away the excuse of I can't do this, I can't have that. And it goes beyond even the political things, you know what I'm saying. I watch the moves that my brother make, man, bro sitting here with a whole master's degree, you know what I'm saying. And knowing where he came from. So these things are possible because of what y'all believe. I believed I can. You know what I'm saying? I believed that this change was possible. So that's what I jumped on. But now we need to take it a step further. Because now I need to begin to look at those who have governing authority over me.
Right. Because see, even like, you know, like he brought up Donald Trump. And I'll be the first to say, you know, I'm not here in defense. I'm not in lock and step wholeheartedly with no individual.
Right.
And I'm not here to defend, you know, an individual for everything that they do.
Right.
You know, but we got a guy that want to be the president, he wants the job, that, in my opinion, has legislated more harm, a liberal Democrat, has legislated more harm in the black community than the guy that's currently in the White House. Yeah, respond to that. Respond to that. Respond to that. Respond to that.
Okay, do you, have you guys heard this thing about birthright citizenship? You guys have heard that quite often. No, wait a minute, hold on. Let's get real here. If you heard of anything about birthright citizenship, it has to do with immigration. That's what we think. You know, that's what the top portion of that conversation is about. Let me tell you the bottom portion of the conversation. In the Constitution, it says that if a people are not able to assimilate after a certain time in society, that people can be excluded from participation in society's activities. That birthright citizenship is very little about Hispanics and other people coming to the United States from other countries. Because see, they have somewhere to go. And one of the things that LaPierre, who's the head man of the NRA's assistant, said in 1989 was, it's time we bring slavery back. So when the Republicans start attacking birthright citizenship at the behest of Donald Trump, who you think is going to do more good for us than bad, than Joe Biden, when they do that, they're not talking about anybody else but us. And the fastest way to do that is to strip us of our birthright as citizens, because we were only given citizenship not in the Constitution, but through the amendments in the Constitution where we were declared human. We were declared all men are created equal through those amendments. They weren't talking about us. We didn't get ours until afterwards. They're working right now on putting these Supreme Court justices in all of these places and all around in these states, stacking the Supreme Court. They wish Ruth Bader Ginsburg would die so they could slap another conservative Supreme Court justice on there. Change the laws for good. If they change those laws and they got enough Supreme Court justices in the land, they got enough people in the legislature.
The Chief Justice is more liberal than...
I understand, but he will vote if he has...
Because he fell.
Well,
I think he fell.
If the Supreme Court has a majority of conservative justices on the Supreme Court, he has no right but to vote with them. Even his vote wouldn't even change or sway them because they would have the majority in the Supreme Court. But let me finish what I was saying. If they do that, they put all these people in place. They put those justices in the land. They stack the Supreme Court where they have the advantage. They have the legislature, the conservative legislature. That's all they need to change those amendments. They can change the Voting Rights Amendment, which Donald Trump has yet to sign again, because every 4 years, this is why you vote. Every 4 years, we have to fight to keep the right to vote.
The Voting Rights
The Voting Rights Act is
the
not
Voting
permanent.
Rights Act was re-signed by President Obama.
And this year, Donald Trump has re-signed it.
The President Obama, at the time when he re-signed it, could have signed it into law.
Because it's a every 4 year thing that has to be signed by the president.
He couldn't sign it into law?
No, we have to fight for that act has to be changed. He can sign it for us to continue the Voting Rights Act, but right now, there's legislation on the floor.
The Voting Rights Act could have been turned into law under President Obama.
Hold on, no it hasn't, brother, because...
I know it hasn't, but it could have.
And it could have been done by Johnson, it could have been done by Clinton, it could have been done by both of the Bushes, it could have been done by all of them. But the problem but the problem is that every 4 years we have to vote to extend the Voting Rights Act. What he was trying to do was to try to eliminate that process so that the Voting Rights Act would be permanent. That has not happened. So every 4 years we have to go and vote for the right, we have to fight to have the right to vote. It can be stripped. It can be stripped. And Donald Trump has yet to sign it right now.
We had a black president.
He couldn't have done it. He couldn't have done it alone. He could not do that alone.
He could have signed it into law.
He could not have done it alone.
He's the president.
And that would have been like kicking the can down the road.
No, he could not have.
Yes, he could have.
No, he couldn't.
If he would have signed it, it still wouldn't have been permanent. He knew that if he signed that, 4 years gonna come again, another president gonna be elected. It's gonna be the same thing.
He could have signed it into, it's an act.
Before something become law, it has to go through the Congress, through the Senate.
He had
Mitch McConnell.
he had the Senate and he had the Congress and the Senate.
The first 4 years.
When he first got in office, the first 2 years.
It wasn't
The
up.
first 2 years.
The first
It
2 years.
wasn't up until they re-elected the
That's right.
Congress, and then you had Mitch McConnell.
And
Listen
you
what I'm
had
saying,
a-
brother.
You had a Republican.
Legislation can be taken up at any time.
That's right.
That's right.
You don't have to wait.
But it has to be voted on and sent to him.
But he had all bodies of Congress and the White House.
For 2 years.
He got everything else passed that he wanted to get passed.
Right.
So it's not them racist Republicans
It was
that
brought-
stopped him from doing it.
It was brought to the floor. Yes, it was.
You know
Because
what?
they have to bring it to the floor for a vote. He can't just sit down and say, I'm going to sign it into law and that's it. They didn't bring it to the floor.
They
Can I
had
add something?
all
Can I add
bodies of
something?
they control all 3 branches of the
Let me just
government.
add something right quick. We can sit here and talk about this and that and that.
Right.
But we all African American men, right?
Exactly.
We should look at where we can agree at. You know what I mean?
Right.
I understand what you're saying, brother, and I fully agree with a lot of social programs are designed to keep us with our hands out and our heads down.
Exactly.
They're harmful.
But I go back to what Jay said. Like the kingdom, the principles of God has to be installed in that, because then you look at it as an opportunity to better yourself. That way,
That's what
once
it
you
should
better
be.
yourself, you
Exactly.
can better your community.
And that's what I said. It should.
But
I
that
don't
goes
believe-
to the
I don't-
but that goes to the individual. If I'm a man sitting in church and I'm listening to the principles of God and I'm being fed the word of God and I'm reading the word of God for myself, then that's gonna be my direction. You know what I mean? Okay, the liberals may have social programs out there to keep me handicapped. I'm gonna use it to my advantage to better my people.
That's why I said. That's why I said you cannot legislate ambition.
Right.
But you can legislate.
The word of God can only legislate ambition.
Yeah, you can't.
You understand?
The government can't say, I'm gonna get out your way.
Right. No.
Go get it.
No.
That got to be in you.
No, that's the thing. And for me, I can be a man with money and on a mission, but if I'm not aligned with the principles and the word of God, then that mission could turn into gambling, could turn into women. I can start buying expensive stuff I don't need to impress people that don't like me. I can get lost in the sauce. But if I got the standards of the word of God and I'm adhering to those standards, then I'm on a mission, man. I'm on a mission, man. My thing is to then to better myself to the best of my abilities, to get as much education, to open as many businesses or programs to help as many people as I can, while preaching to them about my struggle, my testimony, and how I got here by the word of God and the principles that guided me. Because you can, like I said, you can have all the money in the world, man, and you can have that missing piece in you, man, and that's gonna keep you doing things and taking you away and all of this. And what happens when COVID come and your business got to shut down and your money gone? If you don't have that foundation in you, bro, what you gonna do then? Who we gonna blame then?
See, just to piggyback on what you said, brother. I believe, we in the church with my boy Jay Dab, so we gonna talk about God for a second. That's the way I feel. I'm not. What I feel is that when you born with your toolbox. And everything that you need in life to succeed, everything that you need in life to prosper, you born with. It's up to you to figure out, go through the box and see which tool it is that whatever you facing right then, you grab that tool and you fix that. If you keep grabbing, if you don't grab the right tool, you'll never get past that.
Right.
I believe that when you talk about God, that God gave the day we was born, the day we was conceived, He gave us everything we needed that day.
I just gotta ask you one question, and I'm giving it back to you. Excuse me. Go ahead. What if we felt like you felt in 1932, or when we were slaves? What if we felt like that? What if we say God gave us all the tools we needed, so we don't have to get out here and put our lives on the line to sacrifice to vote? What if we felt like that when Jim Crow denied us education, denied us the right to own businesses or to read or to become successful? Wait, what I'm saying is this: outside of our toolboxes, there got to be structures in place to assist us get to where we gotta get. You know what I mean? We can hit a brick wall. Okay, this is a brick wall, and I need to get over here to do it. You can do it for your individual self, but what if people felt like that back then? That we feel like the statement you made now.
Well, I think you mixed up what I'm saying. It's not. What I was talking about was the individual.
Right.
But if you talk about the whole as the community, what I think from back in the day, you know, because my views on slavery and all that, you know, it's a little different, you know, and I'll come back to it. But if we could if we can speed it up to the civil rights movement. Mm-hmm. You know, I wasn't born. You know, my parents was young.
But we don't know history will repeat it.
But I think the civil rights movement was phase 1. It's no way in 2020 that we're gonna get to phase 2 using phase 1 tactics.
We gotta learn from phase 1.
Yeah, but see, phase 1 was 60 plus years ago.
It don't matter.
That's true. That's true.
It was 2,000 years ago. We still gotta learn from it.
But how long does it take? Who fault is it? Wait, hold on. Who fault is it?
What's that?
That it's been 60 years and we still doing phase 1 tactics.
I think I think that one, the individual plays a major role in it. Each individual, you know what I'm saying? And so we actually talking about why to vote and how to vote. You know what I'm saying? Those are the main focus right there. And I believe you guys have addressed that, you know what I'm saying? Because one thing that everybody is in agreement on is do your research. Because I mean, can't nobody up here tell nobody that you need to vote for this person or that person or this party or that party, because it all depends on your core beliefs and your core values. And so I believe that if we hang our hat right there, because I'm gonna be honest with you, man, the conversation it didn't left the surface a long time ago. The conversation. I mean, I'm sitting here, man. I'm hooked, line, and sinking. I'm still. Y'all just dragging me on in there. You know what I'm saying? But I think that the main thing that needed to be addressed was should I vote?
Yeah.
Should I vote? And we're all in agreement that yes, you should vote. Now the thing is, how do I vote? How do I vote? This is how you vote. You do your research.
Yeah, you do your research.
And whatever party lines up with your core beliefs, you know, because this is, I mean, what we're going into now is a whole different show, you feel me? And I do agree because the tactics, you know what I'm saying? Because, okay, I sent both of y'all that song that said, try Jesus.
Yeah.
Don't try me,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I sent both of y'all the song, man, I just fell out my chair because a lot of us, we believe that, okay, man, you bust my grandma upside of here, you ain't gonna bust me,
right.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm saying that to say this is that, man, when we begin to put our focus on what needs to be done, this is what needs to be done. Okay, ambition. We are in complete agreement about that. I did a song called Go Get It. And the lyrics say, he put strength in my body to get up and go get it. The only reason I ain't got it, because I ain't get up and go get it. You know what I'm saying? Point blank period. You know what I'm saying? I had another brother, he said a line in the song, he said that, he said, God woke me up this morning, the rest is on me. You know what I'm saying? So we are beyond those things right there. You know what I'm saying? And when it comes to these parties, because the overarching thing is this here. There are powers that supersede us.
Right.
And many of us will not spend the time to understand and know, okay, man, how do I dismantle this thing? Mm-hmm. And so we talked last week on the show, and man, we gonna get ready to close this thing out, because I do have my brother in here, man. He my brother in here, he's gonna come forward too. But excuse me, we talked last week that everybody wanna start at the top.
Yeah.
And work their way down, but the infrastructure starts at the bottom, and then the building is built on top of the foundation. You know what I'm saying? And so, what do we learn? Should I vote? Should I vote? Yes. How do I vote? Who do I vote for? Man, my grandma was Democratic. My people was Republican, and man, that's a lie. People change. You know what I'm saying? Let's kill that. What is it that you trying to do, man? I'm out here trying to be a whole business owner, and I'm not trying to stop it. If I'm trying to build a corporation, and I'm trying to franchise, I'm trying to do these things. So I need to find out who lines up with where I'm trying to go.
Most people that I know that are business owners right now, J-Dab, outside of the virus, since the current president been in office, they made a lot of money.
Yeah.
They made a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
Before that, everybody was making money, you know.
Yeah.
But since 2016, made a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
I got a partner that all he do is play stocks. He made a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So, like I say, it's not a pitch for the person. You know what I'm saying? And it's not a pitch for the party.
Mm-hmm.
My pitch is for the values.
Come on.
Now, if everybody that's sitting out here in the audience, everybody that's sitting out here, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart, look at the values of the person. Everybody want to scratch the surface and, oh, he this and oh, he that, and I think he this and I think he that, and I think they like this. Look at what these people are standing on. Look at what they doing. Look at what they trying to do, and look at what they say they want to do.
Mm-hmm.
If it fits what you feel,
Come on here.
do it.
That's it.
That's all. Now, it's not a pitch for either side, because you know I'm gonna be me. My brother right here gonna be him, and my brother right there gonna be him. It's especially for y'all youngsters out here that's looking right now, man. Don't be influenced or don't, you know, growing up, all you hear is Democrat, 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 and the Republicans ain't this. Only thing I'm telling you is start looking at the people. Start looking at their policy.
Do your homework.
Don't listen to what people tell you. And if the Democrat is for you, cool. If you line up with that, cool. But if he not, don't be scared to leave that. If it don't benefit you.
Right. I just want to add something to what you're saying. That's very good points, man. I just want to add something else, and make sure you get your source of information from more than the news or the newspaper.
Right.
Right. Or Google.
Yeah. C-SPAN.
All right. We are living in a productive economy, but that had to start somewhere. Find out where that started at. Find out if that started when this current president came in office, or was it something that perpetuated prior to. Find out that. You got to do your research for you. I can turn it on CNN, and CNN gonna give me their view. I can turn it on Fox, they're gonna give me their view.
Right.
When I did papers in college, I had to have at least 9 different sources of information from different points of view, and from that form my own opinion and present the information based on the facts. And that's all we asking you to do.
But yeah, but like you just, and I agree with you, brother. But I gotta tell you, the numbers is out there. The numbers out there. It started,
but they had to start from somewhere.
It started, but
what the policy said that put the numbers there.
I'm gonna say this.
you gotta look at the scale, and
You're right.
you know, yeah.
You would have become president based on those policies that were put in place prior to. You would have been successful.
Yeah,
president.
I mean, you know,
But you gotta look at that scale, brother. You gotta look at the incline.
the scale ain't tipped that much. You know,
Of course it did.
Let me give you the numbers.
Of course it did.
Let me give you the numbers. The first 4 years of Obama's administration, he came in at 10% unemployment rate. In the first 4 years, he got it down to 6%. In Donald Trump's first 4 years, he's moved it 1%. Now, with a good economy, started out at 4.5%. In Obama's 8 years, he went from 10% to 4.5%. Now, those are the numbers. We want to talk about numbers. Now, I'm going to say this. As far as voting is concerned, you can live in a Republican-red state and have a darn good senator and a darn good governor and a good mayor, and they can all be Republicans. It doesn't matter. What matters is what policies and what morals do they stand on? What benefits you in your community? What are they trying to do? What are they actually doing? Pete Buttigieg, who was running, his people didn't want him in there because he did bad stuff for black people in the black neighborhoods. He disregarded them. And when you disregard the people, you're not looking out for that people. So look at what they do. Look at their policies. Look at their track record.
Motives.
Look at their motives and see where they're going.
Why
If they're
they're
going in the direction that you're going in, Put your number behind them.
And that's exactly what he just said.
I support them. You know, it's not a Democrat or Republican thing.
It's about the moral belief.
That's become a problem nowadays because we're so divided now.
Yeah.
The division is so bad that people only see red or blue, black or white,
it's
up
polarized.
and down.
It's polarized.
There is a straight line. There is a horizon.
Let me ask you this, Mr. Leon. Okay, in the beginning you had made you spoke of a website.
Mhm.
And could you repeat that website? And I mean, this here could be just a start for anybody who want to look up a candidate, you know what I'm saying, to see exactly what their beliefs are. But I mean, it's up to you to go deeper than this particular website, you know what I'm saying?
That
What was
website for Houston is votetexas.org, O-R-G, votetexas.org.
VoteTexas.org.
Yeah. Sylvester Turner and 102, they put this website together. With this other guy.
What information they have?
And what it has in there, it has the names of the candidates. You can look up each and every candidate. It shows you who they are. It tells you their biography, where they come from, their voting, what they believe in, all of their policies. It tells you, you can line yourself up behind them. You can find out if these people really represent you. The Democrats, there's independents, and there are Republicans in there. And you can look at each one of those candidates. You can watch the news when they show the advertisement. If you see somebody on there, you say, okay, let me look them up. Grab your Google and look them up. You don't have to really go directly to a website, but it's good to be able to go somewhere and research these people. Because in this votetexas.org, it's going to tell you exactly who they are.
And that's VoteTexas.org. Man, I really don't want to kill this conversation, you know what I'm saying? But I know if this conversation goes a bit on, I'm going to go grab me a seat out here.
Me too. And I want to say this, if you ever decide to have a voter registration drive here,
Okay.
I'm going to leave my information before you call me. I'll come over here and do it. I got the paperwork. I am registered.
Okay, cool, man. That's what's up. Because at the end of the day, man,
Oh, your place. Yeah. Come on, bro.
our votes count, y'all. Our votes count. Our votes count, man. I most definitely want to leave some time for my brother on AD, the problem solver. He's in the building with us, man. From the Dope Movie, man. He's a blessed brother, man. But man, this here is just really because just the conversation between you two.
Yeah, I wish we could go deeper, man.
Man,
I wish we could go deeper.
We'll have a sequel and trilogy and everything else, man, because this is what's needed, man. Man, look, I keep telling people on TV, man, that look, bro, it ain't about your religion. You feel me? You know what I'm saying? The thing is, if you have a relationship with God, you know what I'm talking about? If you have a relationship, then you're going to want to do things that's pleasing to Him. You know what I'm saying? And if you do things that's pleasing to Him, you're going to want to do things that's pleasing to the man that's sitting next to you. You know what I'm saying? If you're not going to just sit and jab on yourself, then why would you sit and want to sit and jab on the next man? You know what I'm saying? And Dr. King was saying, man, about the bootlegs. He said, man, we don't even have boots. Y'all didn't give us boots. You feel? You gave everybody else some boots. But you didn't even give us boots, you know what I'm saying? But then when we go and get boots ourselves, you got a problem with that, you know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, man, I think that we have to understand that because we are here, we have a right to vote. Our voice will be heard. It's just that our vote can't be so divided. You know what I'm saying? Our vote can't be so divided, you know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, man, I want to say thank you, you know what I'm saying? I see Brother Leon, he ready. I know Rod ready.
Yeah, we gonna finish this conversation. We gonna finish this
The
conversation.
parking lot gonna be lit, man.
You already know.
But man, I thank you guys so much, man, for stopping by, man. I really appreciate it, man. I most definitely will be calling you guys again. I have another brother, man, that I most definitely want to be a part of this conversation, man. His name is Brother Philip Allen, man. Because, man, y'all, last time we talked, you say, man, look, bro, he said, I'm a student to this thing, you know what I'm saying? Most of us, man, we got the hustle mentality, you know what I'm saying? Get it while it's here and on to the next. And that's the danger in the hustle mentality because every hustle fades. And if the hustle fades, you have to go on to the next hustle, you know what I'm saying? But man, we need to get this message to the streets though. You know what I'm saying? We need to get these messages to the community, you know what I'm saying? Why is it important for us to get out? And y'all answer those questions tonight, you know what I'm saying? Should I vote? And how should I vote? You know what I'm saying? Yes, you should vote. And how should I vote? Look, man, you need to be a Democrat. You feel, nah, that's not how you vote. You need to be a Republican. Nah, that's not how you vote. Do your research. All right, y'all? Do your homework. Do your homework. Do your homework on these candidates. Do your homework on these people who want to lead you.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? And hold them to the fire.
That's right.
Now look, bro, you not doing what you said you was gonna do. You know what I'm saying? And I'm reminded of this here, and I'm
To the town hall.
we gonna close. You have to put brothers of such reputation as you two. You know what I'm saying? You three. You know what I'm saying? People who study this game. You know what I'm saying? Like, look here, man. You could be a representative. Look, Rob, man, they said they was gonna, yeah, they did. I mean, what you gonna do with it, man? Look, I'm on it. You know what I'm saying? I'm on it. Brother Leon, look, man, they said they, see, everybody want to be seen for doing something when that ain't really your lane. You know what I'm saying? That ain't really your lane. You need to learn your lane. You know what I'm saying? So, man, in conclusion, man, I just want to say thank you to everybody who came out tonight, man. Y'all, let's give these brothers a hand clap, man. Really, this conversation was, man. Should I vote?
Yes.
Yes. How should I vote?
Research.
How? How you should vote?
Research.
Research, man.
Research is valuable.
Research, man. What?
Next mayor right there.